Specifically, we're looking into dogs. In the core rulebook and in the Gaia Beyond the Dreams book, they have a list of animals that you could use. And in the Gaia Beyond the Dream books, they had a rather basic stat block for a dog. And this stat block's good for a pet dog, obviously. It has everything you'd expect a dog to have. Though, weirdly, this world believes that dogs are physically weaker than humans when they're probably a bit more capable of how strong their bites can be and stuff in comparison to a human punching someone, though I guess a normal dog would probably be a bit weaker than a human. Other than that, though, the stats make decent enough sense. But I wanted to make stats or two sets of stats actually today. We're going to be making two kinds of dogs: a war dog, or an attack dog if you prefer, and a hunting dog. Like I said, this dog has fine stats for basic dog duties, obviously. And if you had a pet dog, I'd recommend just using these stats. But I feel like as someone who invests in the animal skills, it'd be interesting to have a stat block for a dog that you could upgrade a basic dog into by training them, whether it be for hunting or for battle. So, what exactly makes a war dog different from a normal dog? Well, obviously, an attack dog slash war dog, I'll call it an attack dog, is a creature who should be pretty decent at fighting. So, he'd be a warrior probably for his class. Not that the attack dog would wear armor. If anything, maybe make him an acrobatic warrior, because dogs aren't exactly brutes. They're more of a quick, flighty sort to surround their opponent. Shadow could work pretty well for an attack dog as well, but I'll go with acrobatic warrior. And I'll say that the attack dog is a level 1 creature, for the most part. Uh, its age doesn't matter. These things don't matter. It has 600 development points. That's important to know. Gender, race, dog. So let's look at our base dog stats. Our dog is pretty weak physically, but an attack dog should have some superior stats than that. Dogs are fairly agile. I'd give them a 6 still, probably for their agility, or maybe even a 7. They're pretty quick. I'd give the attack dog 6 con. More durable, but not too durable. Dogs are tough, but they're not like, a bear or something, or much more durable than a human would be. For dexterity, I'd give him an 8. And I'd give him an 8 for strength, too. Intelligence, I'd give him a 4 because they've been trained. Perception, I'd give him an 8 because they're a fucking dog. Power, I'd give him a 5 because they're a dog. And willpower, 3 because they've been trained. Very basic stats. I think since it's an animal, his intellectual stats should be on the lower side, though dogs are pretty intelligent, and when it comes to their quality of character, they're fairly good as well. So let's put in our class bonuses, because we're going to do that part first for our warrior dog. And then we'll figure out what abilities he should have. The reason I'm doing 2 today is because an animal like this is pretty simple, but I felt it was lacking in the game. You don't really have a good stat block for a creature like this, who you could use for that a group of peasants or a militia could use to aid them in battle. So he has 10 health and initiative per level, which makes sense. He's a fucking dog. So I'll just put a 10 in here. I'll scroll down to his initiative, and I'll just put a 10 over here. Let's not forget to put their bonuses. So that's a 5, a 10, or no, sorry, that's a 6. It's also a 5, a 10, a 10, a -5, a 10, 0. I think this is -10 for that willpower. Yeah, perfect. So all of his initiative will be sorted now for that. I was automatically filling things. Perfect. That's all we need. And yeah, he has 10 of that, and he'll have 5 block and 5 attack from his class. Perfect. So, how good should a dog be? This dog is made for war and fighting, so he's been trained to fight with humans. So we could basically give him optimal attack and dodge, probably. Just put half his DP, put 75 in both of them. And go from there. He'd have 85 attack and dodge. Which, I think for an attack dog, that's okay. I think that's acceptable for the most part, but at the same time, dogs aren't super flighty, and we can change our DP annulment by a certain degree. I believe it's something like 50 or so points or 30, something like that. Either way, I'll be well beneath it. I'm gonna have his dodge be 55 and his attack be 95. Why? He's a fucking dog. Dogs don't flip around and shit like ninjas or anything. They are more like a type of creature that will rush at you and grab onto you, but they're fairly easy to hit if you're gonna hit them. Not that you'd want to hit a dog. That's just kind of cruel. But these creatures were generally trained and used in battle not to have an elongated duel, but to grab their opponent quickly and take them to the ground for their handler to take care of the rest, you know. So here's his basic stats. He's attack focused. He does have dodge to back up on, so he's not completely defenseless. But he's not meant to. Uh, he's not a duelist. He's not someone who's going to be dancing around in battle for a long time. He's a dog, after all. He's the kind of opponent where he will rush in with his other dogs. Probably they'll do some damage and then they'll be wiped out because that's just how it goes usually. But they're still dangerous, and even if this was a pet for a noble, it's something that you kind of prefer as the better at just getting the adversary down as quickly as possible. So now that we have all of that sorted as base stats, what kind of skills do dogs need? Normally they'd have like no, as you see in the stat block, they have track, search, notice, and that's about it. A little bit to swim and jump and athleticism and stuff and intimidate. But what's worry about his monster ability? We just spent half his DP. Half of it's just gone. Let's figure out his monster abilities next, because that's just going to cut into his secondary ability stuff anyways. Now, being that he's a dog, dogs are natural animals, so they have 0 genosis. They're completely... As I fumbled the chapters for a minute, they're completely normal creatures. So we're just going to scroll through here, and we're going to go through the things that a dog should have. The first thing a dog should have is an acute sense of smell, obviously. As I fumble around alt-tabbing through stuff, and I just click here like an idiot. So we're going to give the dog acute senses, because they're with the dog. But I'm going to call it acute sense, and it just smell. Give them a bonus for their tracking and stuff. Because at the end of the day, they're a dog. They shouldn't have weird bonuses. Beyond that, that's about where I would want to go. There's something weird I kind of want to do that I think would be fine for Animate. Because I like the idea of some of the animal skill, taking time to train these creatures up a bit to make them better. Because I imagine this is a freshly trained creature. So I'm going to give him a special bonus to his attributes. That doesn't happen immediately. So I'm going to spend 60 of his DP on attribute increase. Now, there's a creature in the Those Who Walks Among Us book called a Fire Salamander. And they have a special ability where they gain strength and con every level, up until level 5. I'm doing something similar here, where I'm giving him 3 stat points for 60 DP, but I'm going to cut the price down to 30, because the disadvantage of this is that these are stat boosts he's getting over multiple levels, and not... They're just additional ones. He's not getting them right away. And I'm going to write this down in his background. I'm going to call it animal training. Characters with the animal skill can improve the ability of their war dog, allowing them to gain +1 to... I'm thinking they should be in con, agility, and dex. To con, energy, and dex. Every level up to level... I'll do 4. And I'll put in brackets, they do not get this bonus at level 1. I'm putting it like this so that it's readable. On a bit better sheet, this would just be one big giant like block where I write text into, but you know, limitations we have. Does his special ability, so the way it would work, hopefully I explained it well enough in the text, is that when he leveled up, he would gain an agility, a con, and a dex. Yeah. Every level until level 4, except level 1. So for you got +3 to agility, con, and dex. So a masterful war dog would have 11 dexterity at the minimum, a 9 con, and 10 agility. Plus his usual stat boost, which can be put into his perception or into his strength or something. If you wanted someone with a stronger bite or something. Uh, just because I think the animal skill is underrated and doesn't really give you much. So I think it'd be a nice thing for this kind of creature and similar creatures to have a training bonus. And I'll say this requires an animal skill of requires animals final of, I'm gonna say, like, this is a dog, so I'm gonna say 80 to do this, so not too hard. After all, dogs are notably easy to train when they have been domesticated. So cool, we have this figured out. We spent 30 of his DP with this weird cheaty ability. I was looking around and I can't find the power, like what it's called. I could pull up the fire spider and I could show it to you, but it's unfortunately an ability that I think they made custom for the fire salamander, and they never made it so that you could give it to other creatures. So it doesn't have a good cost associated with it. Dogs have natural weapons, obviously for their bite, so I'll give them that. But I won't make it any stronger than it is, so it's a base damage 40 weapon. So I'll just put that in here so we don't forget. 40. Teeth do thrusting damage. This will be 10, so his final damage is like 50. Thrust. There we go. Speed 20. And then the fortitude is con score, so 6. Breakage is 0. Presence is his, so 30. So he has actual weapons, cute senses, which he's using a CP to get. And beyond that, I think that's basically everything a dog should have for its abilities. It's something that kind of baffles me that something as simple as a war dog is just not included in the game as like a generic stat block to use for someone who wants to, for a character who's playing like a noble, for example, who just wants to have a dog who could fight for them as like a constant bodyguard. So let's put in his class bonus though. He has acrobatics, jump, athletics. So acrobatics, jump, athleticism. I keep alt tabbing, but I have to click here. Sleight of hand and style. I won't worry about those two. I don't think dogs can be. Oh, dogs can be stylish. Let's be real. I'll give him the style, but I won't bother with sleight of hand. He's a dog. He can't use that skill. I'm sorry. And beyond that, I think another advantage I'd give him is dog should have perception 1-1 as an advantage. You know, the 2 CP advantage. So that'd be a 2. That'd be a 1. So he has 270 DP to spend on his abilities. I'm going to say this dog is not too much better than your typical dog at these things, so it's going to be 30 for all these, for these skills. And then with their bonus to acute senses, which I'll double check because last time I got it wrong, plus 50 to notice and search. I'm going to include that for tracking, though. I'm cheating. Yeah, bite me. Why am I cheating? Because, as you can see, the dog stat block, he gets a plus 30 to his abilities from acute senses, which was buffed in here. So I think acute senses, therefore, must have to also include track. Since the dog has acute senses in that book, and he gets the acute senses bonus to all 3 of these skills. So I'm giving the dog his bone. He's getting his buff. This is a buff dog using the Corax of buffs. So he has 90s in all these. He has spent 90 of his 270 DP, giving him 180 left. So dogs can jump, and they can climb, and they can swim. So 180 divided by 3 is 60, and divide that by 2 is 30. Meaning in those skills of swim, jump, and climb, we'll just give him a 30. Oh, I'm putting these in the wrong spots. Let's just fix this real quick. So he'd be at 35 climb. I need to be at 50 jump. Dogs are pretty good jumpers. I need to be at 35. But then it hit me right now, actually, that there is actually another monster ability we want to give this dog. And because, let's face it, I just described how dogs fight, right? They don't just bite at you indefinitely until you die. They grab you by the arm and drag you to the ground, and they keep you there. So I think we should give the war dog actually a trapping attack. So let's look over at trapping attacks, and I'll explain trapping as well. In case someone is watching this and they don't know what that mechanic is in Anima, and they're interested in performing it or doing it as a thing. Most characters can do trapping. This game has things for rules for special trapping, as it's called. I'm going to use the DP cost because this creature don't have special trapping. He says an attack that allows him to trap easily to reduce the penalty in half is what I'm arguing with this Jaws. So I'm going to spend like 20 more DP to give him that. Because it's not something that's available in the base rules right there as a shittier version of the ability. So to accomplish that, I'm just going to reduce this by 10 to 40, so I have 20 DP. And I'm going to put in special trapping. In brackets, half penalties. And what trapping is, it's a generic term used to describe your ability to grapple or entrap someone with your hands, feet, jaws, or whatever. And that's exactly what it is. So with the trapping, but this is a trapping weapon, it's only a 20, a negative to his attack ability to trap someone. So really, realistically, his attack is actually more like 90, because I feel like a dog would generally try and trap his opponent. And I'll write this down as background. Can use Jaws as trapping weapon. Weapon using its own STR. So I'll write that down so it's clear. And then SP1 weapon. It's the same as his unarmed, basically, because he's unarmed. So it's 20, 25, 35, 55, 65 to his initiative, which is pretty good for a level 1 monster. I'm pretty sure that's everything, right? Base 20. Yeah, it should be. It's low because his agility is kind of crappy. And then we'll just quickly find out his base LP. He has 6 con, so his health is going to be still pretty low. Doggo will not be durable, unfortunately, no matter what we do, because dogs, like I said, shouldn't be overly durable. It's something that I think would be a bit weird if it were really tanky. Though we do hope our dog survives, because, dogs are precious and stuff. So he has 85 base health, which puts him at 95 health. That's not too bad. 95 is not terrible. He can survive a nasty blow or two before he falls over, which is nice. So as you can see, making a base game like this is really easy, which is why I'm making 2 of them. So just file, save as real quick. I'll just, Yeah, okay, I don't have any weird files that I need to hide. Oh, oops, this is the wrong option. Computer, browse, let's put it on my desktop. I'll put it here, I'll call it War Dog. And then I'll close War Dog, and then let's open up another one. If I was smart, I would allow it multiple instances, but then I'd be alt-tabbing, and that'd be actually alt-tabbing would be annoying. Oh, did it save on this? It shouldn't have. Or did it remember my changes, maybe? Whatever. So let's make our hunting dog instead. I guess this makes sense to start from this base, because it will be similar, obviously. But a hunting dog is clearly a ranger, not an acrobatic warrior. And his stats should be a bit different. I'm going to put his dexterity down to 7, his strength down to 6. And I'm going to raise his perception to 10. And I'm going to raise his con to 7 as well. I feel like a hunting dog's more well-rounded in that regard. And he wouldn't be as physically capable of fighting, but he'd be better at dragging things back to their master. And they'd also obviously be better at tracking and stuff, because they're a hunting dog. They would still have perception and acute smell. And I like this attribute increase for training him, but I think he'd get different stats. I think he'd still get con. Actually, maybe he'd get the same stats, con, agility, and dex. No, I think I'll just keep that. So what's different though with the hunting dog? So obviously all of his skills are different for these. We still have all the same stuff from prior. So I'll just get rid of all those class bonuses. I might increase how much we put into these notice, search, and track scores, but I'll keep them where they are for now. And I'll get rid of these as well. He'll still have them, but I think I'll reduce them, probably. So the hunting dog has different stats, obviously. Something a bit similar, though, because he's still just a dog. Obviously, with different dog breeds, you can get even further into... Where the hell is Ranger? There it is, right next to Tau for some reason. I guess they're somewhat related. So we'll get the Ranger bonuses. Rangers do not get dodge per level. They get attack per level, though, still. So he'll lose his class bonus to dodge, making his dodge even lower. But we're going to change his DP around, because he shouldn't be this good at fighting. He isn't a creature for animal, he's a creature for a purpose, which in this case is hunting. And that does not mean he goes around biting the animals, that means he helps track them down and recover them from the bush. So he needs notice, search, and track as class skills. Now, I'm going to disclose or something to go as far. So, notice, search, and track increased by 10 immediately. And do any of the other skills for it matter? Not really. I don't really care about these. These aren't skill checks they'd make. You know, as a dog, he can't do anything about traps. He's too dumb. Animals, again, what's he gonna do? We can't convince other creatures about stuff, so not gonna bother with that. And herbal lore, nah. Something we can get rid of is he doesn't need this perceptive 1-to-1 because he already has it as a part of his class, so he has some CP to use, which is good. So for his attack and dodge, I'm just gonna lower his attack down to 55 end of the match. This is a more balanced creature overall, I feel, who isn't combat optimized. So he freed up like 80 DP just doing that right away. And when it comes to other advantages we could give this dog to make him better, there's a lot of stuff we could give him that could be good or make sense even. But there's one in particular I think I want to give him that would make sense for a creature meant for long hunts. I want to find what it actually is real quick. I think it's just one of these common advantages that I'd let him have. Where is it? Oh, there it goes. Immunity to pain, fatigue. Being that he's meant for long hauls, he should be better for... He should be better at resisting those kind of effects. And let's give him... Do we want to give him natural armor? He's like, this is a hardier dog who's more for traveling. That wouldn't be terrible. Yeah, why not? I'll give this dog natural armor. The war dog is more lean, ready for battle. This guy's got some like thicker fur for like going through a variety of environments and has gone through a lot more strenuous activity. He's a bit built differently, so I'll give him the physical AT there. Just because it makes sense, and dogs probably should have some physical AT. I might even go back and give the other dog like 1 or something, or 2 as well. But I'll give him maybe I'll keep like this. I like this. So we've got some natural armor. We're going to improve these skills slightly. We're going to put 20 more DP into all of them to raise them to 50. So now you have, that's 20, 40, 60, so you have 20 DP left. And another skill I'll give him that might be, actually, let me just double check. Is that 2 for 1 or 1 or 3 for 1? Oops, I want to be here. Ranger, there we go. So let's double check Ranger costs. Vigor's 3 for 1. Okay. Maybe not then. I was thinking give him some feat strength, but maybe he doesn't need it. I don't see why dogs should have it. I'll instead give him some athleticism as well. We'll give him a 10 in that score. And in fact, I'll give him a bit more. I'm going to say this dog isn't as good at swimming. Or no, swimming makes more sense. Any of these skills that wouldn't make as much sense? Probably not. No, I think that's fine. Maybe I can like lower this to like 25, 25. Raise this to 20, and then if that goes... Yeah, okay, I'll redistribute it slightly so they're all 25. There we go. So that's 30 across the board for all of them then. Perfect. Because this dog should be a bit more athletic as well, in general. And yeah, beyond that, his strength score is different. It's not a 10, it's a 5. So his final damage is 45. that trapping is fine, thrust, everything else is fine. These are wrong, obviously, so 65 is 60. And yeah, and then his health is slightly different. He has 7 con, so let's go put his health in real quick. And that's how easy it is to make a basic animal, like a dog or a basic hunter who has some other abilities that are very basic. And the reason why I took the time to make such a simple creature, or creatures in this case, is because it's something that I felt the game was lacking, and it's an idea that I have to go back and do the resistances, but I'll do that later. Uh, these would all be 30, obviously, but it's one of those things where Anima is kind of missing a lot of the very basic stuff. Like it has basic stuff for like NPCs for like people in regions, but not necessarily animals, unfortunately. It's one of the weaker points of the game, actually, where if you wanted a dog to follow you around, or a raven, or a falcon, you can buy those things in the core rulebook, actually. And sure, you can use the stats for an eagle to represent a falcon as well, probably, but there's nothing really for this kind of dog. And I thought it'd be a nice little additional thing to just bring around. 40, 45, 50, 60. And I'm just fixing the sheet up to make sure that they're both accurate for their purpose, because I also want these sheets to exist for other DMs down the line who might be playing this game with their friends, and they might not have the time, right, to make this kind of creature really quickly, or they might BS the stats, and then a player is like, "Look, DM, I want a hunting dog because my character is a ranger and he has a hunting dog." So I'll make this so they have something that's actually useful and something that can influence role playing a bit more. 50, 65, 115, 125k. I'm just making sure the numbers are right as well still. And yeah, it's just one of those things where I think adding some of this more basic stuff is nice. And it's a nice little double feature. Like the previous one, I'll be uploading these to my Google Drive, and you guys are welcome to just download these sheets and use them however you like. They're completely free to use. Don't worry about it. Just use them. Next week, I think what I'll do is I'll make another creature for another low level creature for summoners. I think something that you could summon, or perhaps something you can find out in the wilderness. Give it some lore. I'm thinking some kind of fairy or fey-like creature, or a pixie or something. Something in that. And let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments and stuff, and I'd be happy to go with it. Or if you want character build ideas, or like maybe there's a character from a movie or an anime that you like, I'd be down researching them and actually making them if they're interesting, anyways. Obviously, some characters would not be interesting to make, and I'll just not make them. We'll see. We'll see. I'm looking for ideas, and I'm willing to take them. But this is my interpretation of what I think a typical war and hunting dog would look like. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later.